I like how it gives you that warning that the interview is in progress or there's a recording in progress, just in case you didn't know what you were doing.
Just in case you didn't know what you were getting yourself into,
Right,
Ryan,
right. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great. Just as a warning, this is being recorded. This is an interview.
I appreciate the heads up on that. Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you for joining me. And most importantly, thank you to you and the band for stepping up and saving a tour.
Oh no, it was cool to get the invite. We had getting over to Australia in 2025 was one of the top things on our list of things we wanted to get accomplished this year. Now, to be honest with you, I wanted to go over when it was Australian winter because I hate the sun. So it's not an ideal time of year for me.
Yep.
Now, the rest of the Southern guys, the rest of the Texas boys, they're more than thrilled to be going to Australia in Australian summer. But
Yep.
I was hoping for a little cooler weather, but I'll take it, man. We jumped on it because we didn't want to wait and then it fall through and not be able to get over. So when this came about, man, it was like, yeah, yeah, let's jump on it and make it happen.
As an Australian, I'm not a fan of the sun either.
No,
No,
uh, I can
no.
understand. I've been there twice. One time was festival season in the midst of the heat, which I spent my entire time in the hotel rooms. And then when I was over last year with soil, it was like Australian wintertime
Yep.
esque to where everybody else is walking around the streets with like winter jackets on, and I was like, "Oh, I can wear a sweatshirt. I'm
Yep.
comfortable. Cool."
Yeah, yeah. No, look, I understand. I have friends that live in Vegas, and when I go there in the summer, I can wear jeans because there's no humidity.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
if I was to try that here, I'd just die. So I've got to ask, you put out a new single, Revolution, the Final Amen. Anyone in mind when the lyrics were compiled for that one?
No, and you use the word compiled, which I think is the perfect way to explain the way that song went lyrically. In my career, talking both Drowning Pool and Soil, I've always I've been like 99.9% of the lyrics have always come from my my shoulder boulder here.
Mhm.
And this was the first time in my career where all four of us sat down at a table and we had a general idea of the direction we wanted the song to go in from some stuff that Stevie and I had kicked around. So we knew where we wanted we knew at the end of the day what we wanted to say. Um and then but we all threw in lines and we all threw in different phrases that said that to us, and we built the song out of all those different phrases and
Right.
everything. So this was a very different, I mean, a completely different way of going about the lyrics process than I've ever been a part of before. And I think it turned out pretty unique as far as that goes, at least to my ear, because I hear, I know I was at that table. I heard each person kind of chiming in, so I can sit there and I can listen to the song now, and in during the recording process, as we're going through it, I could hear this person's point of view and this person's reflection on what they were, why that line meant something to them and everything. So the song is very unique in that sense to me.
And that's also a bit of a gift is being able to sing the lines of someone else and imagine how their voice would want it to be heard too.
It is. It's a challenge because you want to do. They're friends, they're people I care about, and you want to do their thought, that you want to do their vision justice. You want to try to convey. Sometimes it's hard as a lyricist because you know I've always had I've always sang my own stuff when it comes to my music. Of course, with Drowning Pool, I've sang a lot of other people's stuff too
Yep.
because the band's an amazing discography through the years. But as far as I've always written my own stuff lyrically because at the end of the day, that's the stuff that I'm emotionally charged by. I've never, God bless the Bruce Dickinsons of the world and the James Hetfields that can write a song from a book that they've read or some significant moment in history or something. I love that about their what they that they're able to do that. I've never been able to do that. Maybe it's because I'm not a reader, but but
Yeah.
I've always written from my own personal experiences to where it's easy to feel that emotional charge from the words that are falling out of your mouth because it's what you lived and you know where they came from firsthand. So it's a little different this with that song because I know what the I know what the vision of the song was or is, but everybody had kind of a different perspective on how that topic affected their ability to, the way their head jelly mixed things around.
Yep.
And so it was a little challenging to want to try to fit all those pieces together in a cohesive manner and still have the emotion that I know each one of them felt when those words fell out of their heads. So it was a little challenging, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, the band are planning to have a new album out in 2025. What is the status of it? How far into completion is it?
Material wise,
Yeah.
it's done. Recording wise, we've got a long way to go.
Okay.
The since getting back together, the demand for the band has been amazing, which I we can't complain about
Yep.
until this topic comes up. And then there's a lot to complain about because we just haven't had the time. We've spent so much time on the road, from bouncing from one tour to the other. Um, it's been a busy year. And then me living in England doesn't help anything because,
Yep.
the rest of the guys are still back in the States. Um, this right now, where I am at this moment, is my longest break that I've had, and it's like 2 weeks long. But it's my longest break that I've had all year. My time at home generally has been about 3 days here, 4 days there, 5 days here. Um, so this little 2 week period I've got right now is the longest period of time I've had home since the show started back in February of this past year. So and it's been a blessing to have the guys that I have around me, both Soil and Drowning Pool, that understand that, and they when I've been away from home for a month and a half, they understand that, you know what, guys, man, let this I need to go home for a few days. I just need to recharge my batteries for just give me 3 days, I just need to recharge a little bit and then I'll come back and we'll jump in the studio or whatever. So the studio time has been scarce, so much so that actually on this last US run that we did drowning pool wise, we actually flew the producer out and he spent like 5 days on the road with us while we were touring just so that we could try to utilize some time to get these songs that we have done written to start getting them tracked and at least getting pre-production tracks done of them so that once we're off the road right here while I'm enjoying a little bit of home time, those guys are are in the rehearsal spot, getting the changes, getting the little piece, getting the songs that we've been putting together, getting them tight so that they're ready now to go into the studio and lay them down musically. So that when I go back to the States here in December for a few shows, after those are over, then I'm going to go in the studio and start throwing vocals down on them. So I'm a wordy person. I talk way too much, so I apologize. But
No, it's great.
that's a we've got tons of material, and as much as we were happy to get Revolution out there, really the reason Revolution came out was because it just happened to get done first as far as the recording process goes.
Yeah.
I'm so on fire by by really we've yet to even record some of my favorite tracks that we've written.
Awesome.
So I'm chomping at the bit. It's
Do you
exciting.
think there's going to be a new single before you come to Australia?
That's the plan. That is the plan. We would love, like, ideally, we would like to have a single out towards the end of January. And then, I mean, this is in no way, shape, or form is this concrete. I
Yeah.
mean, because of the way our schedule was, CJ and I, who handled most of the interviews and stuff, we kept saying, "Oh, Revolution is going to come out on this date," and then like that date would come and go, and people would be like, "Where is it?" And it was just a matter again of just not being able to break away from the road long enough to get the tracking done. So when I say that ideally we want another single to come out towards the end of January, that is that is as long as we can, our schedules
Yep.
with the producer's schedule, with the studio schedule, all lines up correctly. Right now, it sounds like we should be able to fall in line to get the next single out by January, and then a third single out before the Godsmack POD Drowning Pool tour starts in Europe, and then hopefully about mid-year we'll have the album ready, whether it's a full length or whether it's an EP. Once again,
Yep.
depends on how much time we can get into the studio.
Now, just remember, fans, just because it's on the internet, it's not law.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes out of my mouth. It's a lot of wishful thinking because man, if I could snap my fingers and get these tunes out, I'm on fire about them. CJ and I, and Stevie and Mike, all of it. Once we got back together, it's just, it lit it, like, it rekindled that fire, and we've been I'm sitting in my morning time about 2 days ago, and CJ's blowing my phone up, and it's like 3 a.m. in Texas. But he's awake because he all of a sudden got this riff in his head, and next thing you know, he's got an entire song plotted out and he's sending it to me. He's sending me the music files and everything.
Wow.
And that's just the way it's been. I mean, we're just if like I'll go over there and we'll be on the road for like 5 weeks, and then maybe we have like 5 or 6 days off before the next run starts. I'll stay at CJ's just because there's no point for the international flights back and
Yep.
forth. I'll stay at CJ's, and the whole time we're together, we're just bouncing ideas. We're sitting out on his back porch with the acoustic, he's got his acoustic guitar on, and we're just spitballing ideas, and it's
It's,
amazing. It's great to be back in that after COVID and after all the crap. It's just cool to be back in that mode again, and excited about it, and
yeah.
it's cool. It's cool to be around. It's cool to be part of.
Can you share who is producing the new album?
Sean McGee, out of Las Vegas. He's worked with Five Finger Death Punch. He did the last Drowning Pool record, Strike a Nerve. Um, I'm my brain's going blank here, but he's as an engineer and all, he's worked on several albums that again, I'm sorry, Sean, you
So
can
he
cuss
he
me out
probably
later,
works
but
like out of the hideout or somewhere, like with the Churkos.
I think that's, man, I don't want to say anything and be wrong, but that name sounds, I
Yeah.
really think there may be a tie there. Yeah, that may be that.
Death Punch is kind of always done there.
Okay, all right. That probably so. Probably
Yeah.
so. I show up, I am the just sing monkey. Just go do some, scream something, dude. That's my job. I love to write, but then the business side of things, I'm not that guy that's going to sit down and talk about this guy produced that record, or that guy
Yep.
engineered this record, or that guy mixed this record. I couldn't tell you. I don't,
Yep.
I've never been involved in that side. I've been firsthand involved in that side of the business, but I don't know who's done what or anything.
Yep.
I'm not that type. I all I know is if I think it sounds kick ass and I like it. I don't know who did it, but I like
Cool.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So congratulations on turning 50. Um,
I'm sorry.
Congratulations on turning 50.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
I'm a year behind you, but I've got to ask, as singers, and I hate to use this word, as singers age, many singers struggle with their voice, but your voice just seems to retain its power, retain its range. What are you doing to keep that?
I don't. To be completely honest with you, coming out of COVID, getting the phone call, you know, not necessarily the phone call, but how it all came into place that we got back together. Once that happened, for the first time in my career, I got a hold of a vocal coach here in England, and I just met with her for one evening, and I was like, I just want to know some exercises that I can do to try to warm myself, because I was worried about, it was like, hey, let's let's get together and do some reunion shows, and all of a sudden 3 days later I'm getting a phone call from Drowning Pool's manager at the time, and it went from doing a couple reunion shows to you're back in the band and we have shows in 2 weeks. So it was, I went from not singing for almost 2 years because of COVID to all of a sudden we're hitting the road. And
Right.
I was worried about where this thing was.
Yeah.
So I got a hold of a vocal coach, and for the first time in my career, I was taking some advice about some warm-ups and stuff that I could do to hopefully get myself ready to go again. Because I was spoiled. I'm a very ignorant, spoiled human being when it comes to my voice. I've never had to do anything. I always would joke that my warm up was a glass of booze and a pack of cigarettes. Um, I've always joked that I owe my voice to Marlboro. It's so I've never been a warm up, warm down guy, and it's not nothing. It's not to vocalists out there to want to be vocalists. It's nothing to be proud of. Even if you are lucky enough to be in that same situation, don't do it. Actually look into it now. Find the things to prolong because you can't take it for granted. Uh, so where I'm sitting at now, as you say, 50 years old, I I I I don't know if I need them,
Yep.
but I do it. I do my little warm-ups and the guys, I know the first show we did together, I went back we had a trailer, it was a festival, and I went back into the back room of the trailer and I started doing my vocal warm-ups. And I don't do what you probably should do, but I just do a couple just to make myself mentally feel better.
Yep.
And but I was doing them, and CJ was telling me that they're all standing out in the other room, and they stopped and started looking at each other like, "What the hell is that?" Because
Yep.
they were like, "Is that Ryan? When the hell did he start doing this?" Because the whole first time we were together, I never did any.
Yeah.
Again, my warm ups was a glass of booze and a pack of cigarettes. So I'm thankful. I don't know how this thing is still going, and because I definitely abused the shit out of it through the years. But we did a tour. We did a tour earlier this year that was 7 weeks long, and there were moments in that tour where it was like 7 shows in a row, day off, 5 shows in a row, day off, 7 shows in a row. When that tour was over finally, I didn't say anything like, "Man, I can't believe it's still holding up," because
Yeah.
I was scared of jinxing myself. But
Yep.
after that last show was over, I sat there and I was just like, fucking made it.
Awesome. Yeah.
It was like this has been a brutal run. And at 50 years old, I made it. And I was pretty damn proud of myself because we're doing our schedule now, as far as how many in a row we're doing and stuff, is almost twice as much as we used to do. We used to do like three, maybe four in a row with a day off. Now it's like a five in a row is the norm.
Yep.
And like I said, it's not strange nowadays that we're doing 7 shows in a row. So I'm beating the voice up more at 50 years old than I did
Yeah.
20 years ago. And I knock on wood, whatever, I'm thankful that I'm thankful that it's still coming out of my mouth the right way, I guess.
Yeah. You mentioned something before. You said, you're doing the vocal warm-ups to mentally get yourself ready. Now, the road is physically taxing, but it's also mentally taxing. What are
Yeah.
important things that you do when you're out there just to keep yourself sane?
You know, I did pick something up here recently, and this is going to be really strange, probably especially to other touring musicians. They're probably going to think I'm half nuts. But we started not, how you have bands have what they call a rider.
Yep.
For people out there that don't know, a rider and what that is you would send like you're advancing a tour, and advancing a tour is like when your tour manager would call the promoter or whatever the venue, and they set up what you need rider wise, and also technical as far as all the important shit really. But part of that also is the rider. And that's like you hear the old stories about Van Halen wanting a
Yep.
bag, wanting a bowl of M&Ms, but with everything but the green ones. Your rider is that kind of crap. It's like, if you have, pita chips and hummus and whatever the case may be, whatever food you want in your green room, uh, drinks, both, water and booze, whatever. All that stuff is your rider. So you typically would advance that well before you ever show up for the gig.
Yep.
But we've gotten it was about a year and a half ago I started doing this, and I just fell in, I really enjoy it. We don't do that anymore. What we do is say when I arrive when we arrive there, I'm going to meet the promoter, whoever it is. I'll take the money for the hospitality. We don't want it purchased before we get there. And then I need a runner to run me to Walmart or to the grocery store or wherever. And I actually end up doing the shopping every day for the rider. And it it's an opportunity for every day. It gets me away from the bus. It gets
Yeah.
me I can just I don't know why. I enjoy just tooling around the grocery store and picking up the stuff that we need. And it allows me to grab the little extra little things like our drum tech. I know he loves his dark chocolate, so every once in a while I'll grab my bag of dark chocolates, and yeah, everybody every once in a while everybody gets a little something special in their bunk or something,
Yep.
that I see at the store. But I enjoy it because it gets me away from the bus. It gets me away from the touring is as much of a blessing as it is to be able to do this as people that have allowed us to do this, and it's a blessing to be able to do this. But when you're in the midst of it, touring is a lot like that Eddie Murray, not Eddie Murray, Bill Murray uh,
Groundhog Day. Yep.
movie, Groundhog Day. It's the
Yep.
same. It can be the same thing day after day. The only reprieve you get is that time on stage. The rest of the day, the rest of the 23 hours or 22 and a half hours of the day is very much Bill Murray's Groundhog Day.
Yep.
And so having that opportunity to just get away from it each day for just whether it's an hour, hour and a half, it's it's awesome for me. So that has become quite the little tradition that I have, I guess, if anything, is just going out and just getting away from it all for just a little bit. Other than that, being back in drowning pool, we've kind of picked up with the same kind of little traditions that we used to have. We all get together before we go on before we walk off the bus, and we have our little together shot of vodka,
Yep.
and then we head out to the stage, and we have our pre-show moment with each individual, and then we go up and do our thing. So we have those traditions too, but just on a personal thing, just getting away for a little bit every day, just
Yeah.
getting away from it all, and
That's cool.
yeah, it's doing the being the housewife of the bus right there, and that sounds awful. I guess it's not housewife anymore. You can't say that. That's a sexist fucking
I've
comment.
got it.
But
We'll call you the domesticated rock star.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. I never said housewife.
No.
That sounded like I said that, but that was just bad connection.
Yeah. But we want this. We want domesticated rock star on your laminate for the Aussie
There
tour.
it is. You're right. Right. I
Yeah.
like it. I
Put
like
that on. Put that on the rider.
it.
Because for people that have never been into a green room, I've been in my fair share. It's the same smelly ass couch with the same smelly
Yeah.
ass band members that came off the same smelly ass bus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the bus, the bus comes and picks you up, and it's always pristine and clean and nice. And about 5 days in, the bunk area smells like nothing but foot and ass. And it's
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
the glorious life, man, the glorious life of touring.
Someone referred to it as the unwiped ass express. A bus.
Yes, it is. Y- It's it's funny when you have a guest, a loved one, or a family member, or a close friend come up on the bus for the first time, and they're kind of like, or spend some time on the bus. Just like I said, Sean coming out
Yep.
for a few days, our producer, and spent a few days. He wanted to do that because he was in bands growing up and everything, but he never got the tour like in that fashion. So he wanted to experience. Not only did we need to work on material, but he was more than happy to come out on the road because he wanted to experience that. And
Yeah.
about a day and a half in, he was like, "Man, this is shit." It's like, yeah, but but I've done it like my most of my adult life.
Yep.
I have trouble sleeping in a normal bed. I used to joke. I used to joke that when I come home from tour. my wife would be, she'd be happy to see me and everything, but she'd get sick of having to shake the bed and make an engine noise just to get
Yeah.
me to go to sleep at night. Because, and to this day, as soon as I get into a car and the car starts moving, an infant. I'm asleep immediately because I'm used to sleeping once the bus starts up and starts heading down the road. That's bedtime for everybody. So I've spent my adult life on a tour bus, so there's so many aspects of the tour bus life that is not acceptable in normal society, but yet it's what I'm used to.
Awesome, man. I know you've got a bunch of press to do. I'm going to let you go. I'll see you when you get here with with Alien Ant Farm and not CKY. We're not going to punch band members in the face. This is a violence-free tour, Australia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we were younger, I couldn't make any promises, but at this point in time in our careers, man, we're just enjoying the fact that people are keeping us around and still allowing us to do this. It's a gift, and we're looking forward to it. Like I said, coming over to Australia was one of the top things on our list for 2025. It's awesome that we've got it's in the books. It's happening. We'll be over. It's going to be a good time.
Happy holidays, man. I'll see you soon.
And yourself as well. Thank you for your time, Andrew.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Later.